Let's begin the conversation. Bilateral relationships between countries not only strengthens ties, but also stimulates economic development. The elevation of Nigeria-China ties to comprehensive strategic partnership level took a positive turn when the two leaders met to further strengthen relations that have lasted over a century. Presidents Bola Tinubu and Xi Jinping of China witnessed the signing of several Memorandum of Understanding MOUs on various areas of mutual interests. Let's share this story by TVC News State House correspondent Femi Akonde with you.
This state visit to the People's Republic of China precedes President Bola Tinubu's participation in the 2024 summit of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, scheduled to hold from the 4th to 6th of September. President Bola Tinubu was treated to a welcome ceremony reserved only for visiting heads of state. Later, he sat down to hold talks with President Xi Jinping. He said his administration remains committed to sustainable growth through the effective implementation of ongoing economic reforms.
The China-Nigerian relations that is over half a century should further strengthen our trade and economic development program. Nigeria has a very great potential as largest population in Africa and is the biggest economy.
The President of the People's Republic of China acknowledged the long-standing relationship between the two countries that dates back to more than 5 decades. President Bola Tinubu and President Xi Jinping superintended over the signing of strategic memoranda of understanding between the two countries.
In addition to statements of joint mutual interest and commitments to development, security, and undertaking to work together for the betterment of Nigeria, Africa.
Road Initiative is China's modern-day Silk Road, connecting countries, connecting people, connecting economies through rail, through road, through electricity lines.
5 memoranda of understanding were signed between the two countries to promote mutual cooperation in different fields of interest and enhance the implementation of the Belt and Road Initiative, which is a massive infrastructure project that seeks to connect China with other parts of Asia, Europe, and Africa. For President Bola Tinubu, his main message in China is to assure the world that Nigeria is open and ready to do business. Femi Akonde, TVC News, Abuja.
Beautiful report from Femi Akonde there. Biko, let me start with you. Nigeria and China have both elevated their relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. Now, what exactly does this mean for Nigeria and China?
Oh, it's a win-win situation for both countries.
Okay.
China is keen to build enduring relations with the continent of Africa. We are like the beautiful bride that everyone is courting. So China is trying its best to achieve a big head start ahead of countries like America, the UK, the EU nations, led by Germany, which is the most industrialized of the EU nations.
Okay.
So China sees a big market in Africa, and China is doing its best to deepen ties with African countries so that African countries can see it as a strategic partner. So for China, embracing Nigeria with both arms is something that is inevitable because Nigeria has the market that is not available in many African countries.
Has the largest economy.
Well, in a way, you could say that we have the largest economy, although South Africa is on our coattails, and given some of the reverses that we suffered in the last few years, South Africa may soon overtake us as the largest economy. But we are not going to rest on our laurels, and the president is moving around the world and letting the world know that Nigeria is ready to do business, that some of the negative stories that they read about Nigeria should simply be discarded in favor of business, doing business with Nigeria. As you can see, both leaders signed 5 MOUs, nuclear energy, human resource development, road initiative, media exchange, and cooperation. You know, so we started on a good note with China. I just hope that even in dealing with China, we try to not drop our guard. You know,
I like that.
You know, in boxing, it's always
Yeah, exactly.
you protect your temple, because if you get a roundhouse to your temple, you fall asleep.
I like that part Biko mentioned. We need to be cautious. Okay, but President Tinubu in talks with Xi Jinping, how equal is this partnership? Is Nigeria getting as much as what China is getting?
Well, when you look at
is it a 50-50 or 60-40?
You cannot say it's a 50-50 for now.
Okay.
Because you cannot even describe China as an emerging economy. China has actually arrived as and when you look at the history of Nigeria international relations, you saw that in the last 40 years, our biggest trading partners have been Europe, West, and East. But now, when we sit back and look at what have we gained from that, our biggest trading partners like UK, US, France, Germany, and co. So it is time, so that we are no longer in a bipolar world, it is time that we open up ourselves, and we do that with, like he said, with sincerity, openness, and we have to be visionary about what we are doing, because we also know the history of some countries in Africa that have allowed their economy to be run by China, and at the end of the day, they run into problem that countries have to take over their infrastructures. So the thing is that whatever pact that Nigeria is having with China, it has to be with our own strategic interest as a country too. Our strategic interest, not only as the biggest country in Africa, in terms of the fact that the kind of youth population we have. Yes, unfortunately, we never had a sort of consistency in foreign relations in terms of the leadership. But I think in that area, Nigeria has to show to the whole world that we are ready to be non-aligned, and we are ready to do business, and that we too, domestically, we are ready to, because the general impression people have is that when you buy a Chinese product, that it is inferior. But I want to say that it is not. It depends on what we want from them. You know, when you are in a relationship with somebody, you have to determine your terms of the relationship. You have to put your cards open. Nigerian leaders have to allow China to know that Nigeria is a serious country, and that a lot of things that have happened in the past is because of lack of visionary leadership. If China can be where they are today, considering what happened during the Cold War era, then any other country can emerge as a star. And because of our position in Africa as the biggest country in Africa, we have the potentiality of being the biggest economy in Africa.
Talk about population,
land mass, and you talk also about mineral resources that we have in Africa. We have the best mineral resources you can think of now. So I think that relationship has to be clearly spread out to our advantage. I won't say that it is 50-50 because they are far ahead of us. Don't let us deceive ourselves. Now we are struggling with how to provide fuel.
We need them more than
they need us now. But I think like they have galvanized their population such that China is now looking for where to go and invest. It's because of the human resources and human capital resources that China has built over the years. So every country wants to do business with China.
All right, BK, 5 MOUs signed.
Yes.
How will all of these agreements, translate into concrete results for Nigeria?
If we remain focused, and in this kind of partnership, both parties are obligated to honor their side of the bargain.
Okay.
The success of it will depend on each person honoring his side of the bargain. You know, you have your role to play. China has its role to play. You have to work hard. Both sides need to work hard to ensure the success of this, to ensure the eventual implementation
Of these
of these agreements that they are reached. But you and I know that Nigeria is a nation grasping for electricity. I just read this morning that we achieved 5,000.
5.3. That's what megawatts.
For the first time.
These schools are not taking it.
When South Africa is doing more than 40,000 megawatts,
45,000.
largely from coal, where Brazil is doing in excess of 100,000, largely from hydro. We have all of those power sources, electricity, generation sources, but we are just not where we should be. So if China would help us to achieve our aim, because without electricity supply on a consistent basis, you can't achieve real growth and development. We are wasting our time. All of those SMEs that are described, as the engines of growth. They need electricity. Even those who want to irrigate their rice fields, they need electricity. You find that a lot of them have to buy petrol, put in their generators and all that. We need to improve in the area of electricity generation and supply to our people. By having good ties with a technologically advanced country like China, there is a lot that we can benefit from. Look at, when you talk about electric cars, China is by far ahead of the rest of the world.
Yes.
So why can't we tap on that? Because electric cars are much cheaper to maintain, and they are friendlier to the environment than cars fired, petrol-fired cars, or even diesel. So I see a lot of opportunity here, but this is just the beginning. Signing an agreement or an MOU is just the beginning. There are steps that you need to take to ensure that everything is concretized, and we hope that our government will be able to follow through and ensure that we benefit tremendously from this trip.
Okay, let's look at it in Africa-wise now, because some persons have said that they feel that it's an unequal partnership. All right, Nigeria has many mineral resources like gold, cobalt, oxide, lithium.
We have all kinds.
Everything.
Tartalite, everything.
But in your opinion, the harnessing of these energy mineral resources, to the economic benefits of Africa, are we really getting it?
Well, I think the problem with Africa is the head. It's the leadership in most of the African countries. Look at Congo now. Congo has the richest country in the whole world in terms of mineral resources. But the country has been piling down over the years because of instability. Different power groups competing for attention. So when you have instability at home, there's no way you can have a program that you roll through. There's no way you can have consistency of program and visionary program. Like in Nigeria now, yes, we have consistency of government. In the US, whatever happens, the United States have their own defense. Is the power. Either it is a Republican or the Democratic power. But in Nigeria, we have not been able to have a consistent leadership that has a focus on a particular area, such that we can use our resources to the benefit of the maximum. Look at the mining in Nigeria now. Not until in the last 1 year that we are getting serious with mining. A lot of mining activities is being done by private individuals, and they put the money inside their pocket.
Illegal mining.
They put the money inside their pocket. Chinese are involved.
They are stealing our
resources. So when you don't have that kind of a good policy in place, there's no way you can harness it for the benefit of the country, not for the benefit of individuals.
Okay. All right, let's move straight to our next story. As killings by bandits continue, so also is public resentment about banditry and the call for appropriate response by the federal government. Now, in a move to end the persistent threats of banditry in the Northwest region, the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Mohammed Matawali, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, and other top military officials are in Sokoto to lead efforts to flush out bandits. Now, the briefing detailed the current situation in the region, the progress of ongoing operations, and the strategic steps being taken to dismantle the criminals operating in the region. Yeah, let me start with you, BKO. Yesterday, I saw the video of the Minister of State for Defense, adorned in, full military gear. The Chief of Defense Staff and other military, military men with him. But what is the significance of this? Or is this a show of force?
No, it's not the first time that this is done, or that this has been done. I remember that in 2015, President Buhari gave a similar directive that the service chiefs should relocate to the northeast. And I said at that time that it was meaningless. You don't have to relocate.
Oh, really?
You don't. What is the point in relocating? Are they going to go to the war front? Are they going to go to the front line? Will you put Matawale, for example, dressed in military gear? Will you put him on the front line?
You think it won't boost the morale of the soldiers to see their chiefs there?
See, we need more than boosting morale of troops. We need the right strategy. And I've said repeatedly that the strategy is not the right one and it's not working. Sometimes when you talk to Nigerian officials, including people in the security sphere, they simply dismiss some of the suggestions that you're coming up with. But the issue is, what have they achieved with their own tactics that they've stuck to? What have they achieved? Has it delivered results? The answer is no. The answer is no. Sending service chiefs, telling them to relocate to Sokoto State, it's not the solution. Sokoto State is not the epicenter of banditry in the Northwest. Zamfara is the headquarters of banditry in the Northwest. In fact, Zamfara exported bandit leaders to different parts of the Northwest.
But Sokoto has been in the news,
Yes, it been in the news. It'll be one or two incidents. It doesn't. The banditry in Sokoto does not come close to Niger.
Okay.
And I know what I'm talking about. It does not come close to Katsina. It does not come close to Zamfara. Yes. Because in Katsina, not less than 12 local governments, bandits are operating. They're very active. In Zamfara, in Zamfara, even part of the state capital, Gusau, is being terrorized by bandits. Safe local government that is close to Gusau, the state capital, and borders Kaduna, bandits are running riot. They are running rampant. So if I were to say, okay, on a purely, how do I describe it? Just symbolic, kind of symbolic move. Let me send service chiefs to anywhere. I will send them to Niger, where at least 8 local governments, Rijau, Magama, and the rest of them, bandits are behaving irresponsibly. Do you know how many soldiers bandits have killed in the Shiroro area alone? It was in Niger State that bandits shot down an Air Force plane. Did anybody shoot down our aircraft in Sokoto? We are not saying that in Sokoto they don't have this issue, but it's not the epicenter. If we defeat banditry in Niger and Zamfara, I can tell you banditry will soon be a thing of the past, because Zamfara is where they are exporting them. In Zamfara alone, they have more than 30,000 bandit fighters. And they have different leaders with their own troops. So We've done this before, it didn't achieve the aim. If we have the right approach, we have suggested what in our view constitutes the right approach, but they've not listened. Every time I get an opportunity either to speak to somebody big in the security cycle, I offer the same suggestion that I've made here repeatedly.
You think maybe they are seeing something we are not seeing?
What is it that
from the military perspective?
Whatever it is that they are seeing, that they think some of us are not seeing, the results should
translate into
to bear them out. If they are getting results with their own methods and tactics, I'll be the one to say, I give you salute. You are doing a great job. You saw me during the meeting with the Chief of Army Staff. I gave him salute. I am a civilian general myself. I gave him that salute. I will give him his compliment. But if you are not getting the results, and we have said, why don't you try this idea? You've never tried it.
Okay.
And I know why they don't want to try it. Because it's a very expensive way to deal with the problem.
Okay.
What I've always suggested is, let's have simultaneous attack on these boys across the contiguous states, so that they don't escape. Okay, now they've gone to Sokoto now, because they usually announce these things. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, you announce this thing before you even get to Sokoto. Those boys have never played. They are not fools. Bandits who are operating in Issa local government, Tureta, Rabah, all of those local governments in Sokoto, they will move into neighboring states. They know that your focus is on Sokoto. That is not how to defeat banditry. Come on.
You're thinking a covert operation whereby the media is silent.
See, we are at war. It was General Theophilus Danjuma who said it back there. He said, we're at war. Mr. President, we're at war. I also insist that we're at war, and we don't need kid gloves treatment for these guys. Let's know that we're at war. Let's declare a war. Block all their exit points. I know they will be saying, look at him, he's not a soldier. See the way he's talking. But we have read so much about the military, the way they operate all over the world, to know that this is a method that if you adopt, there will be no escape for those boys. I guarantee that if we try it, there will be no escape. Where are they going to run to? You block them in Kaduna, you block them, you have troops everywhere. It's an all-out war. You finish them once and for all. Where are they going to run to? And we know their hideouts. We block them, we block all the exit points. They will be the ones. Anytime we try to deal decisively with bandits, they will be asking for amnesty. It's because those boys know that they can't defeat the state. But if the state behaves like, it's a weakling, of course they will continue to treat us the way they are treating us.
All right, BKO, we need to go on this break. Don't go anywhere. Journalists Hangout. We'll be right back.
Quality wires and cables on. Come and come back, light up your life. Come and want to light up your house. Come and want to give you better. Come and extraordinary wire. Come and cables, come and wires, come and quality, come and durable, come and capable. Come and cables, come and wires, come and quality, come and durable, come and capable. Everybody, come and see. Come and wires, one in a case. Brother, sister, uncle, auntie, go get your own. Come and wires, come and cables, come and quality, come and durable, come and capable. Come and wires, come and cables, come and quality, come and durable, come and capable.
Coleman Wires and Cable. Great quality. Now with the new look.
Time is power. Our lives are powered by the sun. As the sun rises, so do we. As we trust it to rise and set without any worries interrupting your morning. With our hybrid all-in-one inverter, powering our prosperity and happiness.
Sustainable future.
but also nurture what is dear to us, powering trust and support, empowering us to do things that really matters. Start Times Solar. Power your life.
All right, if you just joined us, it's still Journalist Hangout. I'm still hanging out with Babajide Kolaji Otitoju and Tunde Abaton. My name is Benga. Let's move straight to another story, still talking insecurity. Now, just when it seems that calm has returned to Yobe State regarding Boko Haram insurgency, a unknown number of terrorists in motorcycles invaded Mafa village, a remote community about 45 kilometers to Damaturu, the state capital, and killed several residents. According to sources in Babangida, a town near the scene of the attack and headquarters of Tamuwa local government area, the terrorists sacked the community as they set fire on houses and trading centers, leaving behind blood and anguish. The state government has buried 34 people killed in the attack as the Islamic State of West Africa province ISWAP claims responsibility. Let's share this story by TVC News correspondent Mike Oshoma with you.
Autopsies of villagers killed by Boko Haram terrorists were evacuated from Mafa village to Babangida, the headquarters of Tarmua local government areas. It was a dark day in Yobe State as the state government and residents of Babangida and Mafa towns gathered to witness the mass burial occasioned by Boko Haram fighters on Sunday. Corpses of villagers killed by Boko Haram terrorists were evacuated from Mafa village to Babangida, the headquarters of Tarmua local government areas. It was a dark day in Yobe State as the state government and residents of Babangida and Mafa towns gathered to witness the mass burial occasioned by Boko Haram fighters on Sunday. The event is conducted by the Yobe State government in Babangida town of Tarmua local government area. Prayers are offered here at the Emir of Jajiri's palace for the repose of the soul of the deceased before conveying them to the cemetery. Speaking with newsmen after the prayers, the deputy governor describes the incident as tragic.
Attend the funeral prayers of our people from Mafa village who were massacred by the Boko Haram the day before yesterday. And we have prayed for 34 souls, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them into Al-Jannah Firdaus.
However, in a separate interview with Mafa residents and relatives of the deceased, some of them confirmed that the number of deaths is above 34 as officially displayed.
Akalla zai kai mutum 125 wanda aka yi rashin nan. Mun yi jana'iza a nan garin mutum 34. Kuma akwai wasu garuruka akwai wanda suka zo suka ɗebi mutanen su suka je suka yi jana'iza akalla da zai kai shi ma 40 da wani abu.
Any other information you have is rumor, because nobody has gone to Mafa. It is the Nigerian army that went yesterday and they brought these bodies. So anything you hear is in the realm of hearsay. People are just concocting stories and giving wrong figures.
Meanwhile, in a recent statement released by ISWAP, the insurgent group claimed responsibility for the killings. At the moment, Mafa village remains a shadow of itself as houses are completely razed down by the terrorists. Residents of Mafa are presently seeking refuge with their host community in Babangida. Michael Oshoma, TVC News, Yobe State.
Well, that was a report, really sad one. Just when we thought that calm was gradually returning to Yobe State, we see this one. The bloodletting is too much. When does it stop?
Well, like you just said, whenever a problem emanates or reared its head, if you don't crush that problem or attempt to solve the fundamental cause of the problem with all your might, with all your strength, there is the possibility that other smaller ones. First, it was Boko Haram when it started in early 20s. years later, we now had the incidents of banditry that has so far compounded the problem. And you also have the incidents of poverty, pervasive poverty, because poverty is also part of all these things, poverty and lack of education. So all these things comes together, because I believe that if we have dealt decisively with Boko Haram, we would not have had banditry on our hand, because banditry is a pure business. Banditry is a business, and it has become a way of life for people who are looking to make means by all means. Boko Haram, you can understand that is purely vendetta and purely religious. Even though they are also killing Muslims, they are killing every other person. So the problem is that if you leave a particular problem unsolved, you don't tackle it well, there's the tendency that you have motivation. That is why the North now is now a center, it's a theater of war. From whichever way you look at it. Look at just Petrol State that used to be very quiet, peaceful. Now the place has been turned upside down. Look at Benue State. Look at Zamfara State. And the issue of Zamfara was compounded by the mining that is going on there. Exactly. Mining encouraged banditry. So the thing is that I think because we left the issue of Boko Haram unsolved, it involves getting the commitment of leaders. It involves, there was a time the government of Nigeria, President Buhari and some other countries in West Africa, concert of powers in Africa, they came together because these people, they have the tendency of escaping to other countries. If smaller countries in Africa, in West Africa, can contain the activity of these people, I don't know why it is becoming increasingly difficult for Nigerian armed forces to contain this problem. If it is becoming difficult for us, we cannot tell the whole world that non-state actors are more powerful than our armed forces. If they are more powerful than us, then we have to change strategy. Because when we continue to, the problem with Nigeria is that we announce that we want to fight, but it's only a bad general that will announce tactics and strategies openly. And part of the tactics is that we are moving all your generals to Sokoto State. Has this solved any problem? It has not. So openly declaring your tactics and strategies.
So are you calling for a media blackout that they shouldn't tell the
they shouldn't tell Nigeria. You see, it's only if a thief is coming to your house and he knows all the ammunition you have in your house, he will well prepare for you and get something that is more superior. How can Nigeria now announce that we are going to do this, we are going to send our best generals to war, which means those people will prepare and they will move, like he said. If you conquer Sokoto, are you also going to move the same set of people to Zamfara, to Niger State, to Benue State? That one has become even a permanent.
So I think there has to be a deliberate change of tactics by our leaders. You don't have to be announcing that you are going somewhere. Okay. Look at people now, 34. Look at when I watched the film yesterday, I was in tears. When are people? What is the essence of life? Life has no meaning again. So I think for the very first time in our history, we have to act.
All right, BKO, we have to find a way to cushion this issue of insecurity. But we've tried all sorts of strategies. But is military force still the best way to tackle it? He mentioned poverty. Are there other strategies that need to be brought on this time?
Yes. There is no way we can achieve victory if we are simply focused on the military solution. And I'm happy that Nigerian forces are also taking steps to win the hearts of the people and enlighten the people so that they don't go and join these terrorists. Because these terrorists are exploiting the pervasive hunger and poverty in the land to recruit as many people as they can. That's why even as we are killing them in good numbers, they are still coming at you. They still have fighters. Everywhere, they still have fighters. Bandits are still able to recruit. Boko Haram is still able to recruit. We have to address that source of recruitment. You go to some states, some communities in the north, you see endemic poverty, no government presence of any sort. How will that not encourage some people to go and join Boko Haram? And Boko Haram is even known to distribute palliatives to people in some of the communities that they are in control of. I've seen videos of Boko Haram in the Lake Chad areas of Borno State, where ISWAP is in control, sharing rice and even cash to residents.
How did we get here?
Yes, no one can deny. They gather people and they were sharing rice and cash to them. In the Madagal area of Adamawa State, I remember traveling to the place in 2016, and I discovered that Boko Haram was giving people loans. And if they are unable to pay, they then conscript them
into
to become fighters, become terrorists like them.
So because of the poverty...
After I made the announcement on TV, the Nigerian army confirmed it about 2-3 weeks later, that Boko Haram was giving loans to people in Adamawa State. Many wouldn't believe it at that time when I raised the alarm, but the army soon confirmed it. So we have to find a way to stop them from getting people to join them. We have to make sure that we provide good governance. Bad governance is also an enabler of terrorism and other criminal activities, because people have to survive.
Biko, let's look at intelligence. How intelligent is our intelligence? We have the DSS, we have the NIA.
It's compromised, it cannot be effective. If it is compromised from inside, it cannot be effective.
Now look at, I'm pained that any time you see that Boko Haram kill people in very large numbers, is likely because they felt those people gave information to the military. Almost 2 years ago, in this same Yobe state, Boko Haram attacked Gaidam village, close to the border with Niger Republic, and killed about 45 people. Their reason for killing those people was that they provided information to the military, and the military now came and slaughtered them. So they waited, came back. This is what, based on the ISWAP statement, they are saying that the people in this community provided information to the military, which led to the death of their members. So they came back in anger. So we want our people to provide information about the movement of terrorists, so that they can send aircraft or even surface troops to serve justice to them. But if our people provide information and they pay with their lives in this manner, I can tell you that it will be difficult to get them to provide information, because they will remember that every time they do that, they pay with their lives in large numbers. So it still takes me to the fact that there is still a lot of work left to be done. Boko Haram may look defeated. You get the point? They may appear defeated. They may have lost some of their capabilities. The capabilities that they had in those days, whereby they will attack a military base, sack that military base, and loot weapons. They've lost that capacity. I can't even remember when last they did that. But it doesn't mean that.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that we've removed completely the threats that they constitute. Okay. This is what we are seeing. They still pose threats to our people, even though they are not as strong
as before,
as they used to be. The military has done a good job of decimating them. Okay. I agree. But as I've always said, this is not the time to jubilate. This is not the time to relax, because the enemy is still in a dangerous state, and the enemy still exists. We've seen that. You saw what happened in what's this place called? The local government of Alundume, Goza, where Boko Haram unleashed suicide bombers, and they killed a lot of people. It's this year. So it's not as if the threat that Boko Haram constitute has been obliterated. They still constitute a big threat to our people, and we must remember that we have not won the war. We have made progress, I admit, But we have not won the war. If we had won the war, this sort of killings will have stopped.
Okay. All right, BK, enough of insecurity. Let's talk about another issue biting Nigerians. Our next story, news about a new increase in pump price of petrol jolted Nigerians on Tuesday as fuel marketers adopted a wide range of price differentials nationwide. Petrol stations owned by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, adjusted the pump price of petrol to 855 naira per litre. The latest increase, which took effect just 2 days after the NNPCL acknowledged owing fuel suppliers about $6.8 billion, has triggered widespread condemnation by Nigerians. Meanwhile, hope of better days ahead is rising as the Dangote Refinery prepares to roll out its refined petrol. Now let's share this story by TVC News market editor Effiong Ekpo with you.
Refining processes at the $20 billion Dangote Refinery and Petrochemicals Company in Ibeju-Lekki, Lagos, has come to conclusion. Tuesday morning, the chairman of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, told journalists that petrol, which Nigerians have been expecting, is at the point of entering into the market, only waiting for final discussions with the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited.
I would like to salute the people of Nigeria and the government of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu for creating the environment for us to thrive and also achieve this monumental task of giving energy to our people for growth, development and prosperity. As we have this refinery working, it will show the true consumption of Nigeria. We can track every single loaded trucks, and we will try as much as possible to track the loaded ships. Trucks, we can tell you where they are. Just like now in some of the products that we do, we can tell you exactly the consumption pattern and co.
The great businessman praised the government, civil society, media and the citizens for giving him rare opportunity to solve a national problem that has been for long.
This is the sample of the petrol. It might be a little bit, you see it like a different color, but that's the real this thing, So you are now going to have, good petrol where the engines of your vehicles will last longer.
The Dangote Refinery, with capacity to refine 650 million barrels of crude daily, has already produced diesel, aviation fuel, fertilizer, and now petrol.
If they come back today, our PMS can actually be in the market by today is what, Tuesday? By Thursday latest, our product can be in the market.
Samples of companies' diesel and petrol were shown, assuring of world-class standards. According to Dangote, his refinery will meet the consumption needs of Nigeria and West Africa. It was not clear how many days or weeks discussions with Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited might take. Effiong Ekop, TVC News, Lagos.
Let's go. Okay, BKO, yesterday Nigerians woke up to a new reality with the announcement of an upward review of the price of petrol, by 45%. But the scarcity is still there. When will this lingering fuel crisis end?
I just hope that this comes to an end soon. The NNPC has been so badly run that Nigerians are the people bearing the brunt of mismanagement and lack of accountability in the nation's oil corporation. It's unfortunate. When we were told that NNPCL was owing so much money, owing suppliers, they said no, that it was not true. But we can see now that it is indeed true. And the fact that they are owing those guys is the reason we have this scarcity, because some of them are refusing to play ball. Because you are owing. How do we take our money from you? How do we get you, except we pile that pressure, how do we get you to pay? So this is the situation that we find ourselves. We can't even be guaranteed of product availability, even at such a high price. The only solution to that now is if Dangote Refinery begins to roll out PMS, because I learned that it has been permitted to supply 25 million liters a day. At its installed capacity of 650,000 barrels a day, it can provide all our petrol needs on a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
And even have enough left for export. But the elephant in the room is the price. Nigerians have been used to cheap petrol, way cheaper than the price at which it is sold in the neighboring countries. And those neighboring countries, it's not as if they all do not produce crude oil. But Ghana is a crude oil producer.
Yeah, exactly.
Benin Republic is a crude oil producer. In fact, Benin has been, there is an international group of oil producers that was set up in 1987. Benin Republic is a foundation member of that group. But they don't sell petrol at a price as cheap as ours. And this is what has encouraged smuggling. Nigerian petrol is being smuggled all the way to Ghana. I'm saying this, I want people to fact check me. Up till Ghana, Nigeria's petrol is being sold. It's being sold up to Central African Republic.
Is it because of the price?
Because the price has encouraged smuggling on a much bigger scale. Some of the people today who set up NNPC filling stations, they are diverting product from meant for their outlets, their so-called NNPC outlets, to other places so that they can make more money. Our people are too greedy. So my concern now is, okay, 855, what is the guarantee that by the time Dangote rolls out product,
what will be the price?
That it won't sell above 1,000 naira per liter.
And the government has to come in this
people
time.
Thinking that Dangote rolling out PMS is a guarantee for cheaper fuel. They don't know what they are saying. No. There's no such guarantee. And even if it begins to sell from tomorrow, the crude oil that they promised they will sell to him in naira, they've not begun to sell to him. So it would then mean that he will be selling
the ones he brought from outside the country.
Yes, when we will not supply him with crude oil. And you and I know that Dangote will not sell below the cost price.
He won't do it at a loss.
No sensible businessman would do that. Not even someone like him. So I'm worried, not just about availability, but price. Because Nigerians are reeling at this time. Nigerians are going through a lot.
Okay. All right. Sunday, let me ask you. On Monday, I asked BKO this question on the issue of corporate governance in the NNPC. Should heads start to roll?
Well, I think maybe the president is being unnecessarily cautious or tactical. He has touched almost all the commodity heights of the nation's economy, but he has not touched the oil sector. He has touched banking. He has touched many other areas. He has removed first subsidy. He has to touch the elephant in the house, like Jide said. Assuming Dangote is able to roll out from tomorrow, they have said that he said he will supply NNPC, and NNPC will now sell. what is the guarantee that the corruption that has been in the system will not prevent the fuel being available at a friendly price to the populace? That is the problem. Because if you are relying on NNPC to sell your fuel with the inbuilt inefficiency, corruption that is in NNPC,
diversion.
Because
and the direction that is said in NNPC. So NNPC is until there is a conscious effort by the president to deregulate, to actually activate a purging, a systematic purging of the oil sector. I'm not even saying NNPC, oil sector. We are not out of the woods yet.
So you don't subscribe to rolling?
Yes, it should do that. I think it's biding his time, but I think the earlier the better now. Because
will it solve the situation?
No, well, the thing is that our problem is systemic.
It is systemic.
No, it's systemic. It's in the system. The corruption is in the system. If you do a census of all the NNPC filling stations in Nigeria today, I am very sure that 60% of those stations are owned by staffers of the NNPC. Let us do a survey. If that is true, then it means Dangote fuel will have problem getting to the people at an affordable price because the corruption is inside. It's not impossible that they will also. Yes. Because it is why is it that NNPC found it very difficult to get fuel to Nigeria?
Why should it be NNPC alone? Dangote will sell to a deregulated
economy
sector. Everybody should be able to go and buy. Why should it be NNPC alone? Then why are we hearing that it's fake that is about to
fix the price of fuel?
This is absolute rubbish. There's no way fake will go and decide the price of petrol for the businessman. How are they aware of his production costs? His production costs, are they the ones that determine that? So there are so many things that we just don't understand that is going on. Maybe in the coming days we'll get some clarity. But NNPC, just as he said, just hold on a bit, just as he said, is something that is an agency that the president must put an eye on. You are declaring paper profit, and you are owing $6.8 billion, and you are claiming that you are owing federation accounts you have not been remitting. You are owing so much money, and you are saying you are declaring the profit exists only
on paper. All right, thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much. How time flies when we discuss Nigeria. Thank you so much, BKO. Thank you so much for your analysis, as always. And also, Tunde Abaton, thank you so much for having this conversation. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11. Join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.